I mean, she's so talented and she draws so much attention. And then, what's so underrated about her is her passing.
She's different. She's a beast. We talk about her being a generational talent. She has a lot of talent, and she's going to continue to keep getting better.
And so I think this narrative of like everybody hating on Caitlin Clark, and even the black and white thing, knock it off.
But she just wants to win. She just wants to win, and to me, she's gonna be my rookie of the year, every day.
Y'all mad cause that corn-fed Iowa girl busting y'all ass. Y'all think she too weak. She can't do this. She lead the WNBA in assists. She cooking. Let her cook. Let her cook.
Caitlin Clark's arrival in the WNBA has changed the game, not just because of her talent, but because of the energy and attention she brings. She's pulled in a wave of new fans, and the league is still adjusting. Teams across the WNBA are scrambling to figure out how to slow her down. So far, no one's really succeeded. With Clark constantly in the spotlight, WNBA coaches are fielding more and more questions about her. Most choose their words carefully, steering clear of controversy. Still, even in their measured responses, you can hear the respect. They're watching her closely, building game plans around her and answering for it when those plans fall apart. That respect is real and earned. Coaches across the league have seen firsthand that Clark isn't just hype. She's the real deal, but that doesn't mean they're handing her the spotlight without a fight. Coaches are competitors by nature. They don't like the idea that any one player is unstoppable, especially when stopping players is literally their job. So when they talk about Clark, there's admiration, sure, but also a quiet resolve to figure her out. There's another reason they hold back on too much praise: team morale. Coaches know their players are listening. They don't want anyone in the locker room feeling overlooked. Giving too much credit to a rookie, even one as impressive as Clark, can throw off team chemistry, and no coach wants that. At the same time, coaches know not to poke the bear. Taking a swipe at Caitlin Clark could easily backfire, and might just fuel her to play even better. That's why most coaches try to strike a careful balance. Give her credit, but don't go overboard. How they walk that line usually depends on their personality. Some play it safe and stay reserved. Others, especially those with years of experience and a solid track record, aren't afraid to speak up. Becky Hammon is a great example. A six-time WNBA All-Star, former league assist leader, and longtime assistant coach with the San Antonio Spurs, Hammon has earned her voice. Now leading the Las Vegas Aces, she didn't hold back when asked about Clark or the media frenzy surrounding her. Her no-nonsense, straight-shooting style stood out and served as a reminder that in the WNBA,
I think she's amazing. I watched every time I possibly could. And our league loves her. This has nothing to do. We're just doing our job. We're gonna show up. Who is ever on the other team is on the other team. We don't really care. We're gonna show up and do us. And so I think this narrative of like everybody hating on Caitlin Clark, and even the black and white thing, knock it off. It's not there.
Didn't hold back. She respects Caitlin Clark, but she also stands with the WNBA veterans who didn't roll out the red carpet for the league's newest star. In her eyes, what some see as hostility is really just high-level competition. The WNBA has always been built on toughness, pride, and earning your place. So when Clark arrived with massive hype, the vets didn't hand her anything. They made her prove herself. That's how it works in this league. Some in the media, and even a few players, tried to frame that tension as a racial issue, but Hammon shut that down quickly. For her, it's not about race, it's about competition. And she's not wrong. Clark's talent and the spotlight she brings are undeniable. But instead of turning every moment into a debate, maybe we should just enjoy what she does on the court. The truth is, most coaches and players would love to have Clark on their roster. They just don't. So they act like they wouldn't want her anyway. That mix of pride and playful denial came through clearly in Minnesota Lynx coach Cheryl Reeves' response when Clark was still at Iowa. Asked about teams possibly tanking to draft her, Reeves didn't mince words. She wasn't just talking about Clark. She was pushing back on the idea of giving up games for a shot at a future star. What she said next was one of the most honest and revealing moments in the entire Caitlin Clark conversation.
Ask me privately, are we going to tank for Caitlin Clark and like that? Like, it's just not how I would do things. If Glenn came to me and said, Cheryl, I want you to do that, I probably would step aside and say, let someone else do that. I don't believe in that. I think if you get there organically and that's what you deserve, great. I am never going to try to be in that situation. You know, Caitlin Clark might make you want to lose every game, but not.
Cheryl Reeves' bold take on teams tanking definitely sparked conversation. While plenty of coaches may quietly agree with her, some felt she went too far, especially when she directly mentioned Caitlin Clark and even called out a team owner. Tanking to grab a top draft pick is always controversial and rarely a guaranteed win. No one can say for sure if it happened last season, but let's be honest. A few teams probably didn't mind sliding down the standings with such a strong draft class coming. Still, banking on a rookie to fix everything right away is risky. Even someone as gifted as Clark needs time to adjust. So Indiana's early struggles weren't exactly shocking. The pace of the WNBA is fast, and the expectations are high. But once Clark found her rhythm, the shift was obvious. The Fever began to click, and people took notice, including Stephanie White, a former Fever player herself and now head coach of the Connecticut Sun. White is the reigning WNBA Coach of the Year and knows talent when she sees it. To her, Indiana wasn't just improving, they were starting to believe. And Clark? She wasn't just scoring. Well,
I think anytime you're a young team that's really growing into yourself, you know, the understanding of one another, the timing, the pace, the connectedness just wasn't quite there early. It's there now. Everybody on the floor understands how, when, and where Caitlin Clark can get them the ball. And so
of all the perspectives on Caitlin Clark's rookie season, Stephanie White's might be the most balanced. As head coach of the Connecticut Sun and a former Indiana Fever player herself, White didn't sugarcoat anything. She admitted what was obvious. Early on, the Fever looked out of sync, but she also made it clear that this is a young team still finding its footing. Yes, Clark is a major reason for the team's progress, but she's not the only one. White made a point to credit other players who've stepped up and reminded everyone that chemistry takes time. Her message was simple and fair. Don't rush to judge a team that's still learning how to play together. She's not alone in that view. Across the league, several coaches, some of the most respected in the game, are preaching. One of the standout voices is Sandy Brondello, head coach of the New York Liberty. When asked about Clark, she didn't get caught up in headlines or hype. Instead, she focused on what really matters, what's happening on the court. Brondello spoke about Clark's growth, how she's making smarter decisions, handling defensive pressure better, and learning to adapt quickly in tough situations. No drama, no exaggeration. Just real insights from someone who's gone head-to-head with Clark's team. Her take stood out because it wasn't loud. It was honest, measured.
Yeah, look, like she's a great young talent, and you have to remember that she's a young talent. She's coming into the WNBA for the first time. She's going to be a really good player. I know that much. You know, but it's hard coming in as a number one. When's the last time a number one pick has come in and dominated from the start? And I think she's had some really good moments for sure. She had 20 in the first game, and you were able to keep her to single digits in that last game. But very capable. Can't leave her open. So I think the whole game plan's around her, and she's going to be a player that will continue to grow because I think she's a quick learner. She's got high basketball IQ. So yeah, she's going to be
part of Caitlin Clark's rookie season that doesn't get enough attention is the sheer pressure she walked into. Coming off a record-breaking college career and landing as the face of the WNBA draft, she entered the league with sky-high expectations and constant media attention. When you factor all that in, her performance so far is even more impressive. She's not just learning the pro game, she's doing it while facing the toughest defensive schemes in the league. Coaches like Sandy Brondello are throwing everything at her. Double teams, traps, non-stop switches. And still, Clark finds ways to impact the game. What's clear now is how fast she's improving. Game by game, you can see her adjusting, learning, and getting better. The only real question is, just how high is her ceiling? One thing's certain, nothing's been handed to her. Clark is earning every bit of attention she's getting, on and off the court. And while she's won respect around the league, there are still coaches who think they can figure her out. One of them is Los Angeles Sparks coach Curt Miller. After splitting a pair of games against Clark's Indiana Fever, Miller spoke honestly. He praised her skills and basketball IQ, but also made a point to credit his own team's defense for keeping things close. It was a classic veteran coach move. Acknowledge.
I mean, she's so talented and she draws so much attention. And then, what's so underrated about her is her passing. Tonight, she was able to get to the foul line a lot, which supplemented her offense. But, I thought we did a pretty good job both games on her, obviously.